Hey, this is Fetta. So I'm gonna be doing a weekly wealth walk, but actually taking a walk. I share these weekly wealth walks because I wanna give you guys real life look at like what goes on behind the scenes of running a financial company, building wealth, having conversations with clients, various partners, people I've added into my alliance. What I wanna share with you today, wow, look at that. Not just that, what I want to share with you today is I want to share with you a conversation I had with one of my alliance partners this afternoon. We're talking about financial product. He runs a company we work with that helps individuals generate guaranteed residual income from their investments, from their assets. And there's a whole world of like financial products out there, different strategies. And one of the things that I experienced even as a financial advisor was getting confused by it all. Like just within one product, like we were discussing one particular product, one particular strategy. And within that strategy, there's tons of different companies you can work with. Each one has a different thing that's a pro and a different thing that's a con and different reasons why we would pick this for a certain person. And in this scenario, there wasn't just one correct blanket answer. So when I started to talk with them about this, I was like, man, I really want to share this with you guys because it's true. There's a lot out there. It can be very confusing. And it's something that if you don't really understand it, like sometimes it leads you to take no action, right? Like people either don't do anything or they make mistakes. Neither of those are the outcomes we want. What do? We want to build wealth. We want to build financial freedom. We want to build residual income, all of these different things, right? So I want to give you a framework today that I use personally to understand financial products. Whew, let me take a break. Give you guys some mountain view here. Number one is this. What is the name of the strategy? I make sure that I understand every single word in the name of the strategy. So something as simple as like, okay, the strategy is investing in seller finance real estate. I am going to look up and clear the word seller, the word finance, and the word real estate, all of the definitions, the origins, where the word came from, everything. And then I'm also gonna look up what is seller finance real estate as its own concept. Okay, and I'll go typically to just the dictionary. I might use Investopedia or ChatGPT to get those definitions, and then I wanna see visually, how does it work? So if I can see a pictorial or I can see an animation or something like that that gives me a visual on how does the strategy work. That's layer one, that's understanding the concept. I have found that this is not a thing I can prove, but if you believe me, let me know in the comments. I think the financial industry over-confuses things by using terminology we don't know in order to make us feel stupid so that we'll use them, pay the fees, pay the commissions, and it creates a dependency where we're like, oh, we can't figure this out, it's too difficult. Do you know how many times I've met people that are like, I can't understand money, it's never been a thing for me, and then I'm just like, okay, let's check this out. They don't know what the words mean. Very basic. So we go over what do the words mean. Now, the next thing that I look at after I know what the words mean is I look at, okay, the word is this, the word represents a concept. That's number two, what is the concept? So that's a little bit more into, I wanna see a video that has it play out or a pictorial or an infographic. If I can't do that, then I'm gonna sketch it out on paper so I can see it on paper. Like, okay, it starts here, it goes there, and I draw it out for myself so that I understand the concept. So the concept needs to make sense. When I can make sense of the concept, I can then think with whatever the thing is, and I can make better decisions that way. So first was the words, the definitions, then we get into the concept. Third thing is the math. The math has to math. If the math doesn't math, I'm not doing it. So I'm gonna look at what is the math here. And so in this particular example, I'm talking to one of our alliance partners and I'm like, okay, good. So he's gonna sit down with a client. We're gonna go over making sure they understand all the words, the concepts, then the math of the situation. What does the math look like? What do the numbers look like? And that's a pretty simple one. Like if you understand mathematics, then you can start to see like, okay, is this thing seller finance real estate? Is this thing supposed to produce passive income for me or residual income? How much, how long, what are my returns gonna look like? These are all the questions I'm asking when I look at this step of math. And the math, when it makes sense, I can move on to the next step. If the math doesn't make sense, I go no further. So if I look up the words, it means blah. Here's the definitions, here's the origins of all those words. Good, got those. Then I look up the concept and it's telling me, here's the concept, here's how it works, here's how it flows, here's the visual. Like, okay, so it's telling me it does this. The words mean this and it does that. Then I look at the math and the math doesn't make sense. Okay, I can't understand it, it's too confusing, it's too complex, whatever it might be. Okay, I wouldn't go further past that point. But let's say the math does make sense. So I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, good, got that, makes sense. So now I can start looking at what is the problem that's being solved. Hey, what is the problem that's being solved? Okay, and if the problem that's being solved also makes sense, and it's my problem, it has to be my problem, That's another good thing. So I look at, okay, seller finance real estate. I got the definition, I've got the concept, I've got the math, it makes sense. I'm gonna make 12% interest. I can see what my passive income will be. Awesome, so what's my problem? Okay, this is the one people miss. So let's say my problem is I'm swimming in debt. Is seller finance real estate going to solve that problem for me? If not, no, I won't do it. I'm not gonna get involved. Now, it doesn't mean I shouldn't understand it. That's the other part people get wrong. This doesn't apply to me. My 13-year-old kid does this. This doesn't apply to me. Why do I need to use this? Why do I need to learn this? It doesn't make any sense. Why would I, I don't need to know how to, change oil on a car. I don't have a car. It doesn't apply to me. Okay, good. But one day, what if you do? Like, wouldn't you rather know things than not? Wouldn't you rather be in a state of knowledge than ignorance, even if the thing doesn't apply to you? Welfare money doesn't apply to me. I'm not using it. I don't believe it should be used, but it's there. People are using it. If I don't understand it, how it comes from, where it comes from, how it raises taxes and inflation and all this kind of stuff, I'm not gonna be able to be cause over that thing. But it doesn't apply to me. Well, everything ultimately does in some way, shape, or form. So even if it doesn't apply to you and you're like, okay, this problem that it solves is not my problem, you're better for having the understanding. Okay, knowledge is like a snowball. The more you learn, the more you can learn. The less you need to learn because you've learned, right? It's this tension. Okay, I learned that. I don't need to keep learning the same thing I learned, but now it opens the door to learning new things. And you never know what you're gonna use someday. Now, if I go over the problem being solved and it does apply to me, great. Words make sense. I get the concept, the maths, okay? The problem that it's solving is my problem, and it actually is something that I can be like, yeah, this solves my problem. Final thing I need to see proof. I wanna see in real life. Show me examples of where all of this came true. Because the number one rule in the investing world is they can't promise you anything. They can't guarantee anything. And while past performance doesn't indicate exactly what's gonna happen in the future, it's at least a track record. Like, if we remove the topic of finances and we just talk about like a mechanic shop, just because we were talking about oil changes, right? I have a mechanic shop and I'm telling you, hey, I can fix your car. And you're like, have you ever fixed cars before? And I tell you, here's all, it makes sense. Jerry, do you have proof of this? Okay, can you show me who you've done this for? And I'm like, nobody I've helped, right? You're like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't wanna be your guinea pig. Worse yet, maybe you're not the guinea pig. Maybe you're the 100th person that's come through and none of the other ones got results and you're about to be the next one that doesn't get results. So I always look for proof. Show me the best possible proof you can. I get it, you can't promise it. I get it, this doesn't mean it's gonna happen in the future. It does not mean I don't wanna see it. Okay, if there's one thing I've learned in business, even with people you trust, proof. Not that I don't trust you, not that I think you're lying. This is my personal policy. I've learned this the hard way. Get as much proof as you can when it comes to making financial decisions. Okay, so I talk a lot about sacred accounts. And so it's like, the dividend rate and the growth on the account. There's 150 years of proof there. That's why I'm so passionate about that one. I know above everything else, even longer than the stock market, even longer than the modern banking system, even before income tax was a thing, that life insurance policy was popping out dividends. That's proof. So guys, I hope that this framework gives you something you can think with, right? So if we review this, what do we cover? We covered number one, understand the definitions of the words being used in any financial tool or instrument you're looking at. Number two, be able to get a visual concept, even if that means you need to draw it or sketch it out, but look for a video, a pictorial, a graphic, whatever it might be. Number three is the math, the numbers. Okay, number four is the problem. Does it solve your problem? Number five, proof. Prove to me that this has happened. Show me the track record. If you use these on anything, doesn't matter, real estate, life insurance, annuities, your retirement account, probably you're gonna experience the same thing I experienced, which was this. Number one, I realized a lot of the things that I thought were good for me weren't. The prescribed financial tools that people use. I started looking at this and I was like, okay, the words are very complex. That's not a good indicator. The concept, okay, I get it, but not really. The math isn't there to support it, right? It's not solving my problem and they can't prove it. And that's something to me, when I learned all this, I was like, man, I need to look for stuff that I can check these boxes off with. And if I start checking these boxes off with every single financial decision I make, I want you to think about that. Every single investment you're gonna do, insurance you're gonna buy, retirement account you're thinking about putting your money into, you did this. I want you to imagine what would happen. So I hope that this wealth walk was helpful for you. If it was, smash the like button, right? Subscribe to the channel and give me a comment if there are specific things that you have going on in your financial life, maybe products or tools that you would like to run through this with. I'm happy to do more videos on specific thing, real estate, whatever it might be. I can jump into, okay, let's go through these 5 steps with that thing as best as we can on a video so you can actually start to learn it for yourself. So that's all I got for you today. I'll see you next time.